Now 12 o'clock, well, now 12:01 p.m. Central Time. And I would like to welcome all who are currently watching to today's stream of CosmoQuest Astro Office Hours. I am your host, Dr. Matthew Richardson. But today I'm just going to be having some fun with some of my research, actually. Or making progress with it, hopefully, during this next hour. Let me go ahead and first verify that I'm actually streaming live. Of course, my OBS software states that I am, but I want to verify that. So I'm going to pull up. Let's not use this. Just go ahead and use good old. Well, I have to use Chrome. So I've disabled some of the options for my trackpad so that the stream will go nicely. Can you guys see this? No, you cannot. All right. So Twitch, here I come. Let's see if you guys got me all logged in already, and I believe you do. All right, I'm logged in. And let's go ahead and navigate to CosmoQuests. And yes, I am live. Perfect. All right. And there are 7 people here, so guys, welcome to today's stream. Let me go ahead and see who's all here. There are 7 people here, so guys, welcome. Let's mute that. A little bit of playback from my laptop. Speaking of my laptop, I was able to fix its issue. So, hey Susie. I see that you're saying hi to everyone. Thank you. There was an issue last week with my laptop, and so I had to borrow Joe's laptop to be able to do my stream last Friday. Turns out that the dual mics on my MacBook were heavily clogged, and so clogged to the point where the only way it could actually register sound was if I tapped on the region where the mics are located. So the fix that I ended up finding online, and I'm not going to recommend this to everyone, but it worked for me at the very least, is that if you have a MacBook and it has dual mics on the left-hand side of the laptop, I simply use the little safety pin and I poke through the holes. I'm not going to recommend this, of course, but it worked for me. And so now I believe I'm back up to 100% status, at least on my mics, so that's a good thing. What's up, Big J? Hey, Guido. Thank you. Welcome. Hi, Susie, again. Hi, Bill. Hi, Phage went. Oh, wait, this is a new name. Hey, Jode. 13. Hey, Keeper of Maps. Hey, Michael. How are you guys doing today? So, as I was stating earlier, the overall plan for today is to make progress with my current research, which I've termed the incidence angle analysis. And the overall idea here is that we want to be able to determine if the incidence angle on the lunar surface for various images that we have of the lunar surface taken by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera, specifically the narrow angle camera aboard the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Hey, Peter. And so we want to be able to see if the incidence angle in any way affects how our users, that is CosmoQuest users, are marking the craters in these images. And this is all associated with the Moon Mapper application. So, all right. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just go ahead and jump right into things here. And so what I'm showing here right now is the website for all of the images that have been archived by the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter camera. or short LROC. And so I'm showing the LROC image search page, and right now we're going to see if I can make comparisons between what the LROC image search or image archive shows versus some images I just received yesterday from our lead programmer Corey. So my incidence angle analysis code is having some issues. And the issue that I think it's having is the way in which I'm defining the orientation of the images. Because the images that we've used for our Moon Mapper application have been rotated a specific way, such that the orientation of all the images should be the same. And I've been told that the orientation should be that I believe the top of the image should be what's considered lunar north. However, if you go through the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter image archive, you'll see that some of the images, at least what would be considered the top of the image, does not point towards lunar north. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the images that I've been given yesterday, which correspond to the images that we use for the Moon Mapper application that have been rotated to point towards lunar north, and compare those images to what I'm seeing here on the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter image archive. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pop out the chat. This way I can be able to keep up with everyone's comments and questions. Alright, so I can minimize this. Alright. Yeah, Keeper of Maps, so we're definitely going to be verifying. Don't worry, Big J. Your secret's safe with me. At least it's safe. It's safe until the point where Pamela probably watches the stream and sees that you're here. So I think you'll be just fine. Yeah, yeah, Big J or Joe is our rebel. So, so yeah, let me go ahead and we're gonna look at the very first image that I have available. She's totally going to watch this. Yeah, she might end up watching it, man. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Let's see if I still have it available. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pull up one of the images that we have used for the Moon Mapper app. So let me go ahead and navigate to that folder. Of course, you guys can't see what I'm doing right now, but at the very least, you should be able to see the end result. All right. Preview. All right. So the image ID is M109-215-691. I need to remember that. M109-215-691L. 109-215-691L. 109. 109-251 or 215, excuse me. I think it was 691L. And of course, there needs to be an M in front of all of this. So to make sure that that's correct, 215-691L. I'm going to go ahead and run a search for this. Apparently, I've run a search for this before. And so it's currently working towards finding that image. And so while we wait for it to find the image for me, I'm going to go ahead and pull this image up, actually. Okay, it's found the image. So I should be able to scroll down. And there we go at the very bottom. It's showing us that it's found 2 images from my search. I'm going to go ahead and click on the first entry and see what it gives me. Alright, so this is the entire image it has. If I'm not mistaken, the image that I currently have is not, I don't think it's an entire image actually. But nevertheless, I'm going to see if I can use it to verify how we've oriented the images. So let's go to my OBS software and let's see if I can pull it up here. Alright, I think this is it. There we go. Alright, so you guys are going to lose all of the metadata that's associated with this particular image that's being provided by the LROC website, because I'm covering it up with the image that we are currently using for the Moon Mapper app, or at least a section of that image. Alright, so this is going to be kind of difficult with this one. I have a section of, so that the image that I'm showing on the left hand side of the screen is a thumbnail of the image that is on the right hand side of the screen. Further information on this is that the image that's on the left hand side of the screen corresponds to what we're currently using for the Moon Mapper app, whereas the image on the right hand side of the screen is the image being stored in the LROC image archive. So before I continue though, I want to be able to make sure that I'm keeping up with all the comments here. Oh no. How do I do this? Alright. Alright, so you guys are going to see some weirdness right now because I need to bring up the comments again. I'm going to see if I can do this really quickly. Oh, I can't because I disabled that feature. So you're going to see some more weirdness. You're going to lose the page that shows the image of the lunar surface that's being stored within the LROC image archive just for a brief second. And you're losing it because I need to be able to see your comments. And it's all using the same application. Alright, let's do this. Boom. Boom. I'm going to need to fix that though. Alright. Guido, you have a very good point there. You are a moderator here. That's right, you have the sword. Use it. Use it, Jay. Use it, Joe. Use it, Joe. Use the sword. Your job is to protect me and everyone else here. So you are doing your job. Good point, Guido. Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. You are supposed to be studying and passing chemistry. Well, you know what? Here's the compromise. If you need some help with chemistry, after the stream, I'm all ears. Alright. So, let's go ahead and see if we can make the comparison. So, let's minimize that. I'm going to bring back up the image that I already currently have, which you guys should be able to see as well. Perfect. And we're going to see if we can find the image section that I'm showing on the left-hand side of the screen in the bigger image that's on the right-hand side of the screen. Now note, it's possible that the image on the left-hand side of the screen has been rotated. Let me go ahead and verify that actually. I can do so by looking at the metadata for the image stored in LROC's image archive. So I'm going to, for a brief second, remove the image that we have in our database. So it's going to go bye-bye just for a brief moment. And so we're going to go ahead and scroll down. And so I'm going to assume, even though I'm going to verify this in a second, I'm going to assume that the way in which lunar north has been defined is the same way in which we define north here on Earth. That is, positive latitudes mean that you're traveling more northward, whereas more negative latitudes correspond to traveling southward. And I'm pretty sure that more than likely holds. I mean, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Let's go ahead and verify that. You guys should be able to see exactly what I'm seeing here. Let's see. Yep. And so I'm going to go ahead and type in lunar north. Let's see if it gives some coordinates. All right. I don't need to go any further, actually. It states it right here. The lunar north pole is the northernmost point on the moon, lying diametrically opposite the lunar south pole. It defines latitude 90 degrees. Perfect. That's all I need to know. All right, so their definition of lunar north is the same as the definition of north on Earth. All right, so let's get rid of that. And so, if you guys could see what's on the left-hand side of the screen, you probably can't. Let me see if I can increase the All right. So I think I've increased it by a factor of 4. Or at least I've pressed the increase font button 4 times. All right, so I want to look at the upper latitudes versus the lower latitudes. And if the upper latitudes are greater than the lower latitudes, then that means that the image is oriented such that the top of the image points towards north. Thanks, Keeper of Maps. Yeah, I kind of figured as much. That, I mean, we define North Pole as the point that corresponds to the maximum latitude that you can achieve on any given surface. I just wanted to make sure. Certain assumptions, of course, are safe, but then you should probably even still verify them, just to make sure. All right. So, it's showing here that the upper right latitude is 26.53. The upper left latitude is the same. However, the lower right latitude is less than. And the lower left latitude is also... Alright, perfect. So based off of these values, I'd say that the top of this image points towards lunar north. And the bottom of the image would be pointing towards lunar south. So this image is already oriented the way in which I've defined the orientation in my incidence angle algorithm. So, I'm contemplating on whether or not I even want to go through and verify that the images should match for this particular image. Let's go ahead and do it. See if we can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and let's minimize that. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this so that I can see the image a little bit better. And I'm going to pull back up our image. And we're going to kind of play a little bit of game of image detective, but using some moon images instead. All right. So let's actually zoom in on the image that I have available for CosmoQuest. So it's clear that this image is along an edge. And given that this image probably wouldn't need to be rotated, this little black space, this little black strip that we're seeing on the right edge of CosmoQuest's image should correspond to the right edge of the image being stored in LROC's image archive. Now all we have to do is find out where this particular location is within the bigger image that I have for LROC's image. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And we're just going to go directly to the right, excuse me. We're going to go directly to the right-hand side of the image. Now note, I probably should do this for all 26 images that we have for the Moon Mapper app. Now, of course, we have a lot more images, so let me explain what I mean by that. So the 26 images that we have are master images. The master images, for the most part, should be the same as the image that's being stored in LROC's image archive. 26 master images in total. However, we take those 26 master images and we slice them into smaller images so that that our users will find it a lot easier to be able to identify craters. Because it's a lot easier identifying craters in a smaller section of a master image versus just like throwing the entire image at the user and asking, hey, go through this and see if you can find all the craters. Which would kind of be a little insane. I'm pretty sure everyone would lose interest fairly quickly if we tried to do that. Let alone having to like zoom in and rescale things. And so we avoid that, of course, just by slicing. And when we take slices, we can take slices at different scales. Alright. So I'm going to start at the bottom right of this image and then try to see if I can slowly scroll up to see if I can find where it matches. Alright. Oh, we're not there yet. There we go. Now we're at the bottom. So let me see if I can rescale things a little bit here. Or do I even need to do this? Okay, let's see. Zoom in a little bit more. Alright. I think this is good. Let's check the comments. Are the poles slightly diagonal? That is another good point. You're right, Keeper of Maps. I should verify that as well. But to quickly answer Peter's question, so what's happening is that as the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is a satellite orbiting the moon, as it orbits, it doesn't orbit in a... Its orbit is not parallel to lines of longitude, or more specifically, what is that? Equator? I guess it would be the prime meridian. Its orbit is not parallel to the prime meridian. It's diagonally offset relative to that, which is the reason why if you look at the well, it's diagonally offset. Let's just put it. I'll just leave it at that. And so the image itself is diagonal. It's a diagonal strip. And so Keeper of Maps brings up a very good point. I need to also verify. Thank you, Keeper of Maps. That's the proper term for it. It's a near polar orbiting satellite. Because I don't know exactly how much the offset is. Keeper of Maps states, of course, we need to verify that positive longitude is east or is it west? So again, we can go back, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and drop that so that we can see the metadata for this image. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. I'm going to scroll down, and so in this instance, what we be looking at is the longitude, and so really what I would want to look at is right longitude versus left longitude. And note that for the image archive, longitude runs for the LROC's image archive, longitude runs from 0 to 360 degrees. In our image archive, the longitude for the images runs from -180 to 180. So right longitude is 3.64 for the upper corner. For the lower corner, right longitude is 3.62. Okay. So just 3.6. Now let me compare it to the left longitude. Left longitude is greater than the right longitude. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, then that means that the left longitude corresponds to west, if I'm not mistaken, and then that means that the right longitude corresponds to, so the right side of the image is east, and the left side of the image is west. I think that I'm getting that correct. And that's how lunar east and west is defined. Wait. Yeah. Left is east, right is west. Right. But you know what? Let me just go ahead and verify, because I don't want to end up making that mistake. But I think in this instance though, I think the rotations are all such that the top of the image needs to be pointing towards lunar north. So lunar west. Oh, that's not right. Oh, there's an actual crater called West. I don't think I really need to worry too much actually about the longitude coordinates so much, but primarily worry a lot about the latitude coordinate, because the images are oriented such that the top of the image should be pointing towards lunar north. Oh, did I do it again? I've lost my comments. I can't see your comments again. I'm definitely going to come up with a better way of doing this for future streams. So, boom. There we go. Gets bigger going west, right? Gets bigger going west. So basically what you're saying is the left-hand side of the image is going to be west and the right-hand side of the image is going to be east. I came in late. Is this the narrow angle? This is the narrow angle the NAC images, yes. And I would think that too. I mean, I'm just trying to think about a map, and if I'm going -1, in our case, -180 versus +180. Yeah, let me think about that a little bit longer. But the key thing though is that we know that the top of the image is pointing towards lunar north. That's how how they've been reoriented. All right. So let's continue from here. All right. So I'm going to bring back our image, but first I'm going to do so. Oh wow, it is very hot in here. I think we've turned up the heat. Give me 1 second, guys, while I quickly bring back up CosmoQuest's image. And as you guys can probably all see right now, I am extremely hot. I think since it's so cold outside, and I'm seeing everyone else is also probably having weather issues where you're at. So yeah, in CQX we define east versus west. We work on a -180 to 180 longitude coordinate system, whereas in LROC's image archive it goes from 0 to 360. And I understand what you're saying on the fact that if you're going from 0 to 360, then bigger is going west. That would make sense. But yeah, let me get back to this though, because I don't think that our images are. Well, no, if you're going to rotate them to make sure that. Sorry, I'm having a brain fart right now. I'm just thinking about what's going on here. Um, Never winter weather issues in Canada. I moved away from the north to try to escape the winter issues, and somehow they've found me here in Nashville. I mean, in Tennessee in general. All right, all right. Thank you. My wife overheard me that I'm sweating down here, and so she she thanks. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to see if we can find this image. But again, because the orientation shouldn't have changed, that is, the image in our particular database should not have been rotated. We should be able to find this section of the image along the right hand edge of the image in LROC's image archive. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and keep scrolling up until I see something that looks similar. Nah, that's definitely not it. Can I zoom in more? I can. I can zoom in some more. Okay. And I know I'm kind of getting quiet here because I don't really have much more to say about the fact that I'm just scrolling up the right hand side of this image. I'm going to see if I can keep track of comments, of course, in the event you guys see something that might look similar and I miss it. Okay. I'm going to change something up really quickly because I keep losing. Oh, I can just do this. Let's see, show chat. But yeah, I'm definitely going to come up with a better way of being able to see everyone's chat. Because although I like to be able to pop out chat, I'm using the same web browser for my chat as I am using for the image archives images. And so every time I navigate back to this web page, not so much navigate back to, but every time I bring it up on my screen, I end up losing the chat screen. I think I'm going to go with a different image, actually. I don't want to have to sit here and try to see if I can find this image along the side. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull up an image that shows the entire image and not just a section of it. Let's see. It's stored. Just give me 1 second while I pull up another image that shows everything. That shows the entire image. Alright. Okay, this might actually work. Although I'll still have to come back to this image and still verify, but at the very least, I think this one's a lot better actually. So let me go ahead and pull this image up. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this image that I'm showing here. And I'm going to bring in a different image. Let's see. Alright. Alright, that's better. This way I don't have to do any scrolling. I can just look directly at the image, the entire image. Alright, and so I'm going to, of course, have to search for a different image on the image archive. So let's navigate back to the image search page. Alright, and so this image, as you can see in the header here, it's 115.008.450. 115, 8450. And it's the left perspective. I remember 008 and 450, but I have to get the other part. I think it was 115. Let's make sure. Hi, Adam. Welcome. But yeah, Keeper of Maps. Thank you for keeping me honest on the on how west and east are defined. I have brain farts every now and then. All right, I think it's found it. Yes, it has. All right, let's go ahead and pull it up. So let me make sure that you guys are able to see everything. You guys can't see everything I'm seeing. Well, you can see everything I'm seeing, but certain parts are being blocked. All right. All right, this one is perfect. Great example of what I mean by there's been a rotation, because I can clearly see that there's been some sort of rotation here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in for the image that's being stored in LROC's archive. Let's see what's going on at the top. That's that. That's that. I think if I... But even if we were just to look at this feature here, we can see... Oh, I've done it again. I've lost the chat. But even if we were to zoom in on that feature there, we can see that that they kind of have like a mirror image of one another. When you compare the image that we're using for the Moon Mapper app, which is on the left-hand side of the screen, versus the image that's being stored in LROC's image archive. Oh, you cannot see the entire image. I'm seeing that now. So let's fix that. But yeah, I'm talking about this fairly large feature somewhat towards the center of the image. They're kind of mirroring one another. Okay. So I would have to take that into consideration, of course, in my algorithm. I would have to fix that particular problem, because whenever I try to like pull up certain craters, they're not going to be pulled up correctly. And of course, I have to think about not the perfect way, but the most appropriate way to be able to account for this rotation. Because it really only, as far as my algorithm is concerned, it only really matters whenever I'm trying to define the position of a crater. Alright, let's see if I can pull up the comments though. Again, I keep losing them. And I want to be able to pull them up without actually changing this screen. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so this is the problem. So what I'm doing now is, because I still have the web browser open for my Twitch stream, and every time I repop out the Twitch, repop out the chat, I lose all the comments that were made, in this case over the past 46 minutes of the stream. So if anyone had any comments or questions, by all means, please repost those comments or questions if you feel that I haven't addressed them just quite yet. Right now, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm thinking that, and let's go ahead and let's actually look at the let's look at the metadata for this particular image. Because if I'm not mistaken, my understanding is that the rotation should be such that the top of the image should point towards north. However, this particular rotation has nothing to do, I believe, with latitude, and it's more so with the longitude. Which, when I think about it, I mean, makes sense. You want all the images to have a specific orientation. Where in this case, the top of the image points towards north, the bottom of the image points towards south, and then the left and right sides of the images point towards west and east, respectively. I would think that would be the orientation that's being established here. Let's go ahead and verify that. All right. I keep doing this. every time I keep losing the chat, and I don't want to redo what I just did because I'm going to lose all the the comments that you guys have been making. At the very least now over the past 2 minutes. So you're going to end up you're going to lose LROX. Thank you so much, Keeper of Maps. Yeah, in my mind, I had that. Yeah, Adam, it's a flaw that I don't like, and so I'm gonna figure out a way around it for my future streams. But yeah, thanks, Keeper of Maps. You're right. Plot the four corners. Yeah, in the image archive, the latitude and longitude of the four corners are given. But in our database, only the maximum and minimum values of the latitude and longitude are given. And so I'm kind of now forced to kind of figure out what the orientation of the images should be. Or what is the orientation of the images that we've given, or that we've imposed for the Moon Mapper app. So as of right now, the pop out for my Twitch chat has its own window, but it's all linked to the Chrome browser. So right now I'm viewing the image archive, LROX image archive using Chrome, and I'm also viewing my Twitch chat using Chrome. And every time I go to click on the page that has the image archive image in it, I end up basically the popped out Twitch chat ends up going behind. Its window goes behind that window. And the only way I can recover it is by minimizing the window that has the image from the from LROX image archive. And every time I minimize it, of course, you guys will lose that window in the stream. Hmm. But the plan here was to go ahead and see exactly what the orientation has been defined, because I've been told the orientation should be the same for every single image in our. Yeah, I wanted to avoid that actually. I wanted to see if there was some way I could probably just specify that the image has been rotated a specific way. I'm thinking through what Keeper of Maps is saying. Hmm. Thanks, Guido. I'm going to definitely be looking for it. Okay. But flipped in what sort of way, though? So, and I'm trying to think back to the image that you showed me before, for for how the camera is oriented as LROC satellite passes over the lunar surface. Let's see if I can actually. I don't want to actually bring it up right now because if I do, I know I'm going to be killing the resources on my computer and it's going to be dying even more to suck in air. Right now it's pretty loud. Hopefully you guys can't hear it. But I remember you sent me an image before showing me how the camera could be oriented. I'm gonna take another look at that. But right, let me get back to what I wanted to do really quickly, which was figure out exactly how this particular image is now oriented. All right. So to the person who just posted that, if it happens again, I or someone else is going to boot you, or at least try to post that. So let's see. Let's go ahead and move this down, actually. And I'm going to scroll down to the bottom here, and I'm going to look at how things are being oriented. Let's do this. Let's do that. Funny thing about it now, I have two things. Right. Thank you, Susie. All right. So, agreed with you, Keeper of Maps, that the concept of upper left is not the same as north. All right. I'm going to minimize these, that way I don't lose them. And the overall plan here was to be able to determine exactly, given LROC's image, how is it oriented right now. So its upper latitudes are -57, Where's the other? Well, I can just assume this is going to be almost the same. So -57 is the upper latitude. What is the lower latitude? -59. So it's already oriented such that the upper latitude faces north and the lower latitude faces south. And so as far as the right longitude versus the left longitude, 197, 197.82, 197.91. And so the left longitude is such that you are going more westward, and the right longitude is such that you're going more eastward. All right. And so I've noticed that there's been a rotation for the east-west direction. All right. So now okay. So if I can assume that this is going to be the orientation of all the images, sorry, I'm being quiet here because I'm trying to think through this actually. Typically, whenever I'm not on a camera in front of me, a camera's not in front of me, I can think a little bit more clearly. But now I just have to just like quiet myself to think about what I'm actually looking at here. So it would appear to be that the orientation that we'd want for the images is the upper edge is going to be north, the lower edge is going to be south. Given the rotation I've seen and how LROC is defining for this particular image, and let me make sure I'm just getting this right. Right longitude is 197.82, left longitude is 197.91. That's going to be greater than, as we were discussing earlier, 0 to 360, and I believe we said that going more positive is going to be going westward. So the left edge of this image is westward. However, given the rotation I just seen, though, are we defining the right edge westward? Okay, perfect. So we want it to be kind of almost like a natural system. That is, upper edge is north, lower edge is south, left edge is east, and right edge is west. Which is really all I really wanted to know, because all the images are supposed to be oriented the same way. Yes, Susie was great, which is the reason why we couldn't see the troll, because Susie got rid of him. At least he's no longer able to make statements. I don't know if the band hammer like kicks them from the stream. I think it just doesn't allow them to post anything else. Yeah, I'm with you that it's in the Eastern Hemisphere, but I just wanted to make sure that... Oh, he's blocked from the channel. That's even better. That's even better. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I know what's considered to be east, west, north, south for each image. Well, guys, it's now 1 o'clock. Thank you guys for tuning in today. Hopefully on my next stream, of course, I can give an update as to whether I was able to resolve the orientation issues with the images. And so, I mean, I'm pretty sure I should be able to. my brain is able to work a lot better when I'm not when I'm not streaming and trying to think of things at the same time. But again, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you Friday. And so bye guys.